Hello, everyone. How are we doing? How's the gain? That looks like it's really loud based off of my sound waves. How are we? Oh my goodness. Hello, hello, hello. So, as you might have noticed, bit of a special stream today. Let me get TikTok going before I switch over to the new overlay because the new overlay, I'm excited. It looks good. Topic. Chatting? Gaming? Technically chatting? I know you guys can't see me. Give me a quick sec. Horror in D&D. And then there we go. Sorry, just had to set a topic because fucking TikTok is like my least favorite thing when it comes to how to do fucking shit. Anyway, hello. How are you guys? Welcome in. Welcome back. My camera's all off. That's because I was on a Discord call the other day, but it's wonderful to see you all. How are we doing? Atticus says hello. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh my god, slow-mo is enabled? Did I do that? No. What the hell? Why is that on? That should not be on. Hold on. But hi everyone. Your bud Dake says, oh nice cape. Hello. Yeah, thank you. Kashka said you did that on Saturday? I did? Okay, well, let's not. How about that? Moderation tools, not shield mode, not highlight settings, not chat settings. Perfect. Thanks, TVCU. Jesus, weird. Yeah, I want you guys to talk. I want you guys to say hello. I want you guys to marvel at the gorgeous overlay that I made that I worked so hard for. Also, how's the music? I added, so this is the music that we used for the Hell stream a long time ago with Hamasamakun, because I couldn't find any other copyright-free, vaguely spooky, vaguely like hellish music on short notice. So that's what we're working with. But speaking of working with, Zandy says I blinked and apparently my birthday is tomorrow. Ah, amazing. Happy early birthday. Okay. So, Arya says, hi, Dana, have a good stream. Hello, Arya. Hi, Wolf. Okay, give me one quick sec. But as you guys might have noticed, today's stream is brought to you by the amazing people over at Grim Hollow. That wording looks a little bit weird in this font, but let me do this. Aha. Here we go. You might have also noticed that the donation bar is not available. That's because the stream elements, like, fixing thing is broken. Full on, it just would not let me add donation goals and things like that. So, never mind. It's fine. It's fine. It's a sponsored stream anyway. But let me pop in and say hello to everyone. Oh my god, Flying Minister, hello. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. We also had Cash Cal in first, who said a bunch of words that I did not pay attention to. Big Mel is here. Cash Cal said hello. Of course, Christoph also subscribed saying, ooh, intro looking fancy. It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh man, I just love it when companies that I'm working with give me like full media kits, you know, like full on just a fuck ton of images and things to work with, because it makes my job so much easier. I get to play around a little bit and make things look nice. But Don Provolone says, what's up, Funyun Busters? Hello, hello. Also, Stupid said, I thought the whiteboard was a mirror for a hot second. No, the whiteboard is back for new subscribers, such as Tamarathon, who is back for a year, saying a year of the Rose Queen. Indeed, indeed. Let me put this here, so that way it's a little bit easier to see. I don't want to cover my bird friends, though. Aha. Amazing. I've started putting up Halloween decorations using this stream as an excuse. Oh, Monkey Beast wants me to hydrate. Cashco says, I get it reading what I say is art. It's also covered by the hype train, which thank you so much for starting the hype train. Also, hello to Figgy. Hello, hello. So today's stream is super exciting, mostly because we're kind of starting spooky month off early. I full on absolutely love, and I am so well known for this, I hope by now, that I'm so much a fan of horror in tabletop gaming, to the point that I will collect horror tabletop games, whether or not they're RPGs. So I have like a bunch of board games that are vaguely horror related and things like that, card games and whatnot. Nomadic Tinker said you mentioned on Threads that you had a 2 a.m. flash of genius regarding your stream setup. Can you share what's new and exciting? Oh no, that was just related, the highly relatable content of friends I know that will change up their stream overlays like fucking last minute, whenever possible. Like full on friends will be like not doing anything on a weekend. They'll be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tear apart my entire income base worth of visuals, and oh my god, hey, we have a new subscriber. Hey, Mr. Mile High, thank you so much for the sub. Thanks for crashing the stream a little bit. Hello, hello. But my friends will do that all the time, where they'll go in and they'll just randomly decide to fix up their overlays, and they don't need to. There's nothing wrong with it. They're just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna check out what's new on OBS plugins, and so that'll happen. D&D says, do you have the Horrified board game? I do not. Horrified doesn't really fall into, when I say like dark horror, I mean like Kingdom Death Monster, like things like that. What's it called? Like Last Light or whatever that one in When You're Stuck in a Maze is. And especially tabletop supplements for D&D 5e that are horror-based, such as Grim Hollow. So today's stream is sponsored by Grim Hollow, but not in like the Iggy way where I'm just going to shout at you to buy it, but instead we're going to spend a little bit of time going over what exactly they're doing, because you obviously have heard the name Grim Hollow before, or at least I'd hope you have. If you're a fan of this stream, I hope you know what we're talking about already. If not, I'll run through it real fast for you. The TikTok FPS is kicking in again. I know, it's not great. I might shut down the TikTok stream here in a sec, but I did make the TikTok overlay look really nice too, so it's always sad when I have to do that, because like I try and work hard whenever someone works with me on sponsorships and things like that to make sure that like the like it looks good for both desktop and TikTok and things like that, but whoops, it's okay. Let me do one quick thing, because I just need to make sure that I announce that I'm live over on my Instagram story, which is always a bit of a pain. Why is it muted? There we go. Aha. Okay. Except it didn't work because it won't let me trim it. You know, guys, being a content creator is so hard. Anyway, Grim Hollow is essentially this supplement and setting for D&D 5e. It works on, they have essentially right now 3 different books out. They have the player's guide, of course, which is probably going to be of interest to most of you. Then they also have the campaign guide, which is kind of the DM side of things, which kind of pulls you more into their world, which is known as Atharis. And this actually has a couple more options for characters, a couple, basically like the lore, you know, and then new mechanics and things like that, that kind of root you in the world and the system a little bit more. And then the biggest one, the chonkiest one, is the Monster Grimoire. But this is all released already. The thing that's new is starting tomorrow, the folks over at Grim Hollow are releasing what's called Grim Hollow Transformed. And Grim Hollow Transformed is something that you can access either through the link in my bio or by using !Grim Hollow over in chat, and that will bring up a link. It's actually an affiliate link, so if you guys use that instead of Googling it, I will personally thank you. But in either case, this is what it is. It's essentially kind of like a revamp of the existing Grim Hollow game, but with new additions, brand new compatibility with the 2024 edition of D&D, which is fucking huge, and then basically another opportunity to check out their Kickstarter, their different options. Let me do this. There we go. Make it a little bit better for those on desktop. And it also adjusts some of the content in the first release. There's a lot of new stuff. I'll kind of get into the Moltening says Grim Hollow chat. Hi Moltening, how's it going? We also have Call Me Juice, Ardalon, Chronofan, Travis Sear. Hello. Welcome in, you guys. Good to see y'all. And here's the thing I do want to point out ahead of time before I forget. If you join the campaign early on, you do get to be essentially a VIP for the Kickstarter. You get to join their Discord. You get a essentially free set of the Grim Hollow Special Metal dice whenever you have any sort of pledge that backs the Kickstarter at a physical level. Hey, you're Bud Dink. Thank you for the 100 bits. That's very sweet of you. You get access to their playtest material via the Discord, and of course developer Q&As. Basically, you're like an early backer. You get to brag about it and have the dice to show it off. I just noticed we're 6 followers away from 10,000 followers. How crazy is that, you guys? Holy shit. So that's something that you can do. If you wanted to do that, the link in the bio takes you there. And if you scroll down on that page, it will bring you to this Kickstarter right here. And if you hit this Kickstarter button, that will take you to the actual Kickstarter. Now, again, it launches tomorrow, so we're a day ahead of time. I'm also going to make a video about it if I can, because I love this sort of stuff. Like, I cannot express enough. This is my shit. I fucking love horror in D&D. And no joke, when I went up to the Ghostfire Gaming booth at Gen Con, I like took one look at it and I was like, oh, people have been telling me to buy your guys' stuff for legitimately like forever now. And so I just went ahead and grabbed all 3 books, like no questions asked. And Nick, who was behind the booth, was like, wow, that was the easiest sale I've ever made. And I was like, yeah, people have been telling me to get your stuff for forever. And I'm a content creator, so like it makes sense. And we talked a little bit and like, yeah, it was, I don't know, it was great. It was an easy sale because this is right up my alley. Anyway, Stupid Nerd said something to use other than Strahd. So that's the thing. It comes with legitimately, it's also like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a lot scarier than Strahd. Curse of Strahd, I love it to death. It's a great starter campaign, and as far as the published modules go, it's arguably my favorite. It doesn't go far enough. It's not spooky enough. It's not that crazy. Like, it got to the level, Moltning says, yo dog, I heard you liked horror. Whereas Grim Hollow goes to a level that I feel like is a lot more exciting, especially for people who are fans of more mature horror. It got to the point where, like, some of the background visuals and things like that I got off of their media kit, I was like, oh, this is a lot of blood. I don't know if I can show this. But like I said in my story, we'll find out the hard way. So here's what you get. When you back the Kickstarter, you do get essentially up to, of course, depending on your backer level, the campaign guide and then the player's guide, which is going to be compatible for the new version of D&D, so the 2024 edition. It's a complete revision and also expansion, so you are getting new content, and it's going to be essentially a guide to the world of Atharis. So you get 2 books with everything you need, and let me see. What you can also get is, well, I guess I should go over the books. The campaign guide has over 100 magic items, different rules for existing in a dark fantasy setting, new mechanics, things like that. A direct guide to dark fantasy as well. So I don't have a whole lot of details on what that actually features. I'm imagining it's either safety tools or just like more lore about the world of Atharis itself. Someone says, isn't this on D&D Beyond as well? They have, I believe, worked with D&D Beyond. Let me see. So this is the newer version coming out, or Kickstarter coming out tomorrow. The old one, I believe, is in the sources for D&D. Yeah, so the current, like, player pack, Layers of Atharis, and then basically just, like, everything you need for the current version is up on D&D Beyond. The newer one is something that you can back now. I will also say, if you back the Kickstarter, there is the opportunity to get virtual tabletop conversions on, no joke, everything. Full on Roll20, Foundry, Alchemy, and then of course D&D Beyond are all going to be included in the campaign. If you wanted to as well, when you join that VIP Discord, you can access the Monster Hunter class, which is something I'm going to dive into a little bit later on down this stream, so that way I'm just not talking at you guys for forever. We can kind of ideate a little bit on some of the content that's coming out. When we get to the player's guide, of course, like every supplement out there that every supplement I fuck with at least, there's plenty of options for new player, for players and character creation. Molten says their poor artist hands weren't enough. So the art is so good. The art is so good. I love it so much. I couldn't include all of it here as well. Just because, like, there was the fitting was weird, but, like, if you look at their social media, you can see a lot more of it, which I recommend you give them a follow. It's always fun. Crotofan says, the Curse of Strahd campaign is what our group is playing. The DM had to do a lot to make it more interesting, and, wait, hold on, I can't read that. Had to rejig it to make it more interesting and darker. Yeah! So if you're looking for dark, like, this is it in a package. But when you get the player's guide, this is when you get access to 40 different subclasses, 12 transformations, which the transformations are basically what allow you as a player character to become something like a werewolf or a vampire or a specter. I was going to use like vampire fangs when I was doing this stream, but I couldn't find them. I don't know where they went. I had like 2 versions of them. But the transformations also come with a bunch of different powers, but also certain flaws. They could be mechanical, they could be narrative, so kind of like story flaws that you could build into your character or just use to guide your character creation. If you don't have an idea of what you want to do right away, the transformations are a really good way to kind of seed that. And then, of course, there's just kind of like this underlying concept across the entire game, across the entire setting, where it's a godless world. No matter what you do, something is going to bring out the monster in you. Like I mentioned before, the Monster Hunter class is available for playtest out now for certain players. And then it comes with 17 different heritages and over 100 traits. Now, the heritages are pretty fun. It's basically like a custom-built trait system. So you can kind of cobble together your character's species from over 100 different traits that you get to choose from. So it's like the most customizable that you can get when it comes to character creation, because a lot of people complain about D&D not being modular enough on that aspect. But this lets you choose from, like I said, over 100 different things that you can use to build your character. And really, like, I don't know, that sort of stuff just sings. It makes my heart sing is what I meant to say. I almost said sings to my heart. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's also been a very long day, so I apologize in advance for my stumbling over my own thought train. Let's see. Monkey Beast says, not gonna lie, I've never done a Kickstarter. What do I do? So essentially, you're gonna want to go to this page. If you go to !Grimhollow, which is just in chat, I'm not gonna type it again. Hey, Random, thank you so much for the sub. But oh my god, TechWiz says, howdy, you amazing human, you. So excited I was able to meet you at the official after party at TwitchCon, late night buzz. Hope you had an amazing night. I did. Also, hello. Moltening says, spark joy. So good it smoothed my brain. That's the one. But essentially, if you're new to Kickstarter, all you have to do is you're going to want to keep an eye on this website. You can bookmark it if you want to, or you can just come back to my link tree, or I'm going to be posting a video here soon on it if you need that to remind you. But it starts tomorrow. So October 1st is the kickoff date. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to head back to this site and take a look at just what all of the different options are for how you can back the game. Sometimes there are different tier levels, and the different tier levels will give you different rewards when the Kickstarter inevitably gets fully funded. I say inevitably mostly for Grimhollow because we all know and love Grimhollow. They do good stuff. They're not gonna have a problem. So it's good to get in on it early. Oh hey, Bob says I subbed to you today and hopes that I could get a happy birthday from you. Absolutely, happy birthday, Bobs. Hello. Wow, what was I saying? I went straight from Halloween mode to birthday mode there. Molten says they have a history of delivering. Their stuff is amazing. It's just gorgeous. I'm such a big fan. I'm so glad that I get to work with them on something like this. But, yeah, essentially it's going to have different packages that you can back it at, different tier levels. Sometimes there's a la carte editions that you can do as well. So for example, you can go to it and it'll say okay, well, if you back the game at a $60 level, then you get a digital version of the book and then a physical version mailed to you. If you back it and these aren't the actual levels yet because I'm not entirely sure what the roadmap is going to be, but different levels will result in different rewards when it eventually gets fully published, fully funded, and goes out to the world. Now this particular Kickstarter, like I said, it starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and then if you're in Australia, and then Australian Eastern time is going to be at midnight. And then there's going to be a 48-hour segment right at the beginning where you can get, I assume, special rewards. It's not outlined in the book that they gave me, but it's pretty standard for Kickstarters to have this early bird special and whatnot, which means that you're going to want to keep an eye out for it, especially during those first 2 days. So anytime... Oh, wait, no, I see. It's a 24-hour end. Sorry, I'm getting that confused. So it's going to have 48 hours. I didn't eat today. Can you tell? Moltening says, and the creators always appreciate a single boost on the campaign if you can't support with money. Yeah, of course. I'll be reposting their stuff on my Instagram story as well because I've been keeping an eye on them. TechWiz says, words are hard. They are hard. But... either way, the end of the Kickstarter is actually hitting right at Halloween time. So on October 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern and then 5 p.m. Pacific, right at the end of the day, is when the campaign ends. So it's a full 31-day campaign stretching all throughout spooky season. And yeah. So, I kind of talked a little bit about the player guide and all the different things that are in there. There is also the campaign guide, which is the other side of the coin. And the campaign guide itself really is more for the GM. You can have it as a player. It's got things for players. But if you're a GM, you're going to want that as well because it kind of guides you through the world of Itharis. It gives you all the lore that you need and gives you different factions that work through the world and that work in tandem with the subclasses and the classes and the monsters in the game. It's described as your complete guide to running dark fantasy games in general as well. So even if you're not particularly interested in Itharis, it's a good thing to pick up if you're interested in horror in a general sense for D&D. It's just it's one of those must-have things. People have not stopped talking about Grimhollow since it came out forever ago, and so there's a reason for that. I mean, I remember when I started playing D&D, almost instantly as soon as I established myself as a horror content creator, people were DMing me telling me about Grimhollow. So there is also another book coming out called The Adventures of Itharis, which is going to have it's basically a set of adventures that are take place in Itharis, and there's 5 of them, including double-sided poster maps for each adventure. So it really is just everything you need. It's, I don't know, it's cool, and the team has been so nice. It's wonderful to have them around. It's such a great addition to the community. Drizzle over on TikTok says, I'm planning on backing this anyway. Does it help if we use your link? I assume so. So it's not an affiliate link. I don't get money from it or anything based off of the number of clicks. It's mostly just like analytical things like, I mean, I guess so technically it's an affiliate link, but it's not like a commission link, if that makes sense. But yeah. Molten Nick says, this is why you should remember to feed and water your DM regularly and bribe them because they are very poor. I can neither confirm or deny, I guess. Also, hello to that one dude. And then also to Restukia, who says, appreciate you sharing all this. Of course, of course. So let me go back and write down the names of our subscribers for today. Again, so sorry that the donor like progress bar isn't up. It's full on just like a Stream Elements thing. It's fully broken for me. I don't know if that's just a me thing or if I need to like switch from using Chrome to like Firefox or whatever, but either way, I will find out later. I'll deal with it later. But Bob's 3K, thank you so much for the subscription. Let me do this. Bob's 3K. And then we'll put spooky subscribers. There we go. Of the day. Super Nerd said, did you know that Earth has a second moon for a while? Yeah, don't we have like a comet such thing that's just doing like a little circle? That's just doing a lap around the Earth. And then they're like gonna, it's gonna be another thing where it like, just like does one single circle and then slingshots away, right? So it's super temporary, but we do have functionally like a unusually large asteroid. Expected to be with us until November 25th. Oh, so it's not even that long. Man, that's okay. It's not good to have a visitor for too long anyway. Monkey Beast said, do you care if I sub with a Prime sub or a regular sub? Like, is there a difference? So Prime sub is, I believe, free once a month, but there's no difference for me. It's fully up to you. I mean, either way, I know you only have one Prime sub, and so it tends to be like, I appreciate it, because I know it's a limited resource. Random Aston, let me get you on the board as well if you're still here. There we are. And then we also have Mr. Mile High 35, who had subbed at tier 1. Welcome in for the first time. Hi. 35. And then we also have Tamarathon and Christoph Dan. Welcome back. Familiar names, of course. Staples of the community. Christoph. Dan. And then Christoph has 187 at the end of their name. Perfect. Amazing. Okay. Wolfie says don't fall for it. It's aliens visiting. Also, Jayhawk said astrology's going to be all messed up for 2 months. Is it really? Also, Claystation says, howdy, Diane. It was so cool to meet you at TwitchCon from Spider-Man. Hello. Good to see you. I hope you made it home safe. Hope everything's going well. Okay. So, let me get back into things. So, here's the thing. When it comes to sponsored streams, very often I'm given kind of free reign, which is so much fun. One of the things that I kind of wanted to do, let me see if I can get this properly working, is I wanted to kind of go over a potential character idea for, oh my god, without getting flashbanged by a Word document, Jesus. Go over a potential character idea to build in Grim Hollow. And so, using the information that I have and the stuff that I have. Hey! Bro Taco, welcome in. Hello. Good to see you. Also, Professor MCH says, Diana, off topic, so no need to respond. I'm going to do a live stream D&D campaign with my friends, and I was wondering if you had any software you would recommend for multi-camera streaming with people all over. Unfortunately, not. I have never run a live stream myself, so I don't know what the hell goes on behind the scenes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's completely out of my forte. I know that very often people will pop into Discord or a Zoom call or whatever and then use the Discord or Zoom call as like an input into their stream overlay and then have several cameras going at once that way. But let me see. So do we want to get into this from let's get into it from a player side. Because I feel like that'd be pretty fun. So there are, let me see, let me make sure I have all my supplement material up here. Okay. I was like, I knew I downloaded it and put it somewhere. All of my stuff is all over the place. But Okay, there's the rule set. Trait selection, custom heritage, choosing a class. Okay. So there are a couple of new character designs, well, options, I guess I should say, in Grim Hollow. And I don't know if I'm allowed to 100% just like show it off. So instead I'm going to go ahead and kind of start messing around with it. Professor MCH says, awesome, we'll start playing around. Hey, wonderful. Also, it's BMAF. Welcome in. Hello. Same with that one dude, 2566, B-Dog, Kelly, and Big Brown. I can't remember if I said hello to you guys, but welcome in. Welcome in. You can set word to open in dark mode. So I'm working in LibreOffice, which is, for those who don't know, basically like a word, like a free word offshoot / hack or some such thing. And so it's kind of like, essentially my office license ran out or some such thing, and I couldn't remember how to set it up again. Hey, we're at exactly 10,000 followers. Oh my God, congratulations, you guys. And so, open source version of the Office Suite, that's the term. Also, hello, Afraid Not, welcome in. And so that's what I've been using ever since I left college, basically. Let me see if I can, so there's the Monster Hunter class, except what I want to show is my, where is it? Document. There we go. So I don't want that. I want this. And then the document is going to be properties, not my lore book. It's going to be, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So when it comes to character creation, Ghostfire has put out a couple of different new, essentially, species. And I am going to kind of give you guys a brief overview of one that sounds pretty exciting, which is the Wolven. Of course, there's a lot of different supplements out there that offer some variant of like lycanthropy or vampirism or things like that. But Grim Hollow in particular, Moltnik says you keep saying Monster Hunter and my Charge Blade hand twitches. Oh, yeah, so we'll get to that. We'll be building a Monster Hunter today using the playtest rules. So, let me go ahead and put this here, actually, because I'm pretty sure I can do at least some of it. And I'm going to show you guys kind of how I do character creation as well, because I don't think I've ever done this live on stream before. Oh, hey. The Jimmy Fund thing is still going. That's fine, because that way, because the fundraiser is still going on. Also, Cross, hello. And Afraid Not says, I've been exploring using Obsidian and Notion for more of a wiki-style set of docs for world-building lore. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I remember I used Obsidian God, fucking forever ago. It's been so long since I've been able to sit down and world build, but I essentially poured over any game that I'm doing in D&D over to Obsidian, which is why I always try and get like the digital versions of things nowadays, because otherwise it's just a pain. Anyway, hey, Grill, welcome in. Hello. Thanks for the follow. So we're going to be building a Wolven today, if we can. The actual like particular traits that come with, we'll kind of like get into in a little bit, because like I said before, the character creation in like the world of Grim Hollow is a lot more detailed. It's a lot more modular, I guess you can say. You can really cobble together a creature or a character that fits exactly what you're thinking. So, the Wolven. Across wilderness and settled lands, in forest hamlets and farmsteads, the fear of lycanthropy runs deep. But few folk ever come to realize that the hulking stranger that they passed on the trade road at dusk, the forest hermit who appeared from nowhere to warn of unseen danger ahead, and the druidic acolyte protecting a sacred spring do not share their fears, for these folk have already been touched by the lycanthropic curse, and have accepted the gifts that it gives them. The Wolven are natural-born children or descendants of an individual cursed with lycanthropy, so they don't inherit the curse in full, but they are touched by its feral nature. Those afflicted in this way are commonly associated with werewolves in the minds of commoners, inspiring the name given to them. But Wolven are equally likely to be descended from were-bears, were-rats, were-ravens, or even rare lycanthropes, or lycanthropes if you're right. But let's see. The weaker trace of lycanthropy handed down to a Wolven means that they do not take animal or hybrid form. They're as calm and personable as any folk, suffering no loss of control or the mindless bloodlust under the full moon. However, the feral nature of the beast that they carry within them drives most Wolven to the lives of solitude and the quiet of the wilderness. The Wolven embody the mysticism of the primal world rather than its savagery. Where they wander through the forest and scrubland, their wild look and solitary nature sees them often mistake for fey spirits, druids, or actual lycanthropes. Some become emissaries or champions of the Fey courts through the touch of cursed magic and though the touch of cursed magic in the Wolven makes some Fey distrust them. But in the end, most Wolven live as outlanders, cautious around folk that they don't know for fear of their solitary nature and their subtly bestial features being misunderstood. Okay, this already opens us up to a lot of potential ways that we could do character creation. And welcome back to my character creation workshop, by the way. I, again, have never done this live, but I'm going to teach you guys how I create the characters that you've seen me use in live plays, actual plays, and things like that. We're probably not going to get to all of it today necessarily, but this is kind of like the basics of how I go about it and how I lay out my character creation sheet. First of all, I put in, let me do this. This font is huge. There we go. So I put in a section for a couple different things. Character sheet is going to be linked up there. Spotify playlist, always have to have. Spotify playlist. And then a Pinterest board. I always just have these up at the top, and then later what I'll do is I'll go in and just add links, you know, full on just like Control-K links to each of these things. Let me see, make this a little, that's way too big. So that way, what font did I say put this at? 14, okay. There we go. So that way, whoever my GM is can go in, click on each of those, and just have it all ready to go, all linked to the same document. So I recommend that. I also recommend name, species. Well, let's do this. Player name. Character. I just did my nails, so typing is a pain. Species. Class. Background. And then I'm also going to insert traits because that has to do with the species that I pick in this particular setting. Then is kind of where we get into the more characteristics. I add in keywords. So, for example, for this character, we would add in just like a couple little things that describe them. So, lycanthrope. And we'll kind of get into more of those later. Keywords, likes, dislikes, history, and then the rest of it kind of depends on the class that you choose. Flavor is another one, or we can say abilities. Here, let's do visuals of abilities, character visuals. So that means how they look, how they're dressed, things like that. And I think that's a good starting point. So obviously, Diana Faye is the character. We can come up with a name later. That's usually the last thing I do because I like to build out a character whose name kind of represents some part of their journey or who they are or what their character arc is going to be. So we'll come back to that. Same with the character sheet, Spotify playlist, and Pinterest board. We might do that if we have time. We don't necessarily have to. But the species, we start off Wolven. Easy peasy. The class, obviously, is going to be Monster Hunter. So we'll get back to that later. Monster Hunter. And then the background and things like that are going to be gotten into later. Now, the Monster Hunter is going to be really cool. Oh, I should add subclass as well. Hey! Bathrobe, thank you so much for the 10 bits. Hello, hello. Welcome in for the first time. There are different Monster Hunter subclasses. We can kind of get into that after we deal with the Wolven side of things. But since I don't really... I'm a little... Do I want to get a character sheet up? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We'll get all the logistics out of the way because that's kind of the... I will fully admit, I usually do a character sheet last, but it's important to have that available just in case. So let me pull up my digital version of the character sheet. If you don't already, by the way, the D&D website has what I believe are form fillable versions of the Bathroom Geeks. So I saw Grim Hollow and got excited. Oh, hello. Welcome in. The D&D website has form-fillable PDF versions of the player sheet, the player character, like character sheets. And if I can find mine, Dude, I moved one folder in my folder structure and now I can't find anything. Here we go. Player information, blank character sheets, 3-page complete. Perfect. Is it gonna pull up in a way that I enjoy? Yes, amazing. Aha. So we'll do that. And then I'll make it so you guys can see PDF, properties, and then the character sheet. Okay. And then for those over on TikTok, there you are. So we don't have a name. We have a class, which is going to be Monster Hunter. Background player name is Diana Faye. Not Diana Fa. Faye. Wolven is the race or species. We'll get back to alignment later, but most importantly, we want to kind of get all of the base character things out of the way. And so that is going to be the Wolven traits. So to start off, it says here that Wolven can arise among any other culture or folk and can draw on the physical features of those folk. That's kind of one of the more interesting things that I really enjoy about character creation when it comes to a character that's kind of like more of a template than anything. Like, it doesn't tell you, oh, you have to have horns or you have to have a certain skin tone. Flair says you're going Monster Hunter Ranger. This is the Monster Hunter class from Grim Hollow. So it's not finalized, I will say. It's still in playtest, but you can join the playtest if you go to the website and sign in to be one of their VIPs. Here we are. So Wolven mature at the same rate as other characters of their origin heritage, but the magic that spawns them makes them age more, and they've remained fit even in their later years. So we could say that we are based off of an elf, because I'm pretty familiar with how elves are built. I've built plenty of them in the past, so we can kind of go with that, which means that for the age of our character, we can go for, actually, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. We can say elves age up to like 100 or over 100 from what I understand, based off of the base information in the book. And so if I remember correctly, that means that we're going to want to choose, I don't know, how old should we make our character, you guys? Does anyone have any preferences? Should I have a weirdly young Wolven or should I have like a super old one? Thoughts, concerns? Lucky View says, shout out to Mperks. I didn't realize you gifted me a sub. Someone says 78. So that's pretty young, I believe. Young for an elf and even younger for a Wolven, if I remember correctly. Because an elf claims adulthood around the age of 100 and then can live to be 750. Are you level 1? Nah, we're going to be going through at least level 5 for character creation. Middle-aged, a midlife crisis monster hunter. That's a good idea. And however old they are, it should be their birthday. I'm down for that. So we could say, so if we say middle-aged, we could say like 400, but it can't be like an even 400, right? Easily 110, 130. We do 410. 437 specifically, 420. 469. We're doing 410. Good God. Size. Wolven are the same general height as others of their original heritage, but they're often stockier, more muscular, or more lithe, depending on the nature of the curse that touches them. So your size is either going to be small or medium as you determine. So if we go back up to size here, or wait, sorry, size isn't up here. But features and traits, we'll say size. And for height, the typical elf is kind of tall, so we could say like maybe 5 foot, especially if it's a Wolven that's more stockier, more muscular, taller. Jojo says 369. Damn, she's fine. We could say 5'8", maybe. Does that sound right? Speed. Your base walking speed is 30 feet. If you're small, you can reduce it by 5 feet to gain an extra traditional trait. I like that. Oh, that's cool. Where you can be like, hey, if you're small, you can be a little bit slower, but you get something else in return. I think that's sick. Now we kind of get into the traits. So traits are, for the Wolven at least, are broken into 3 different categories. There's combat traits, exploration traits, and role-playing traits, which I'm already excited about the role-playing ones, but let's go one at a time. Monkey Bee says, where'd you get the player sheet? Like, how are you typing on it? Over on the D&D website. So this is just it's called the 3-page complete character sheet, which is just a form-fillable version of the character sheet. I use it all the time. I honestly, anytime I don't have something in D&D Beyond, this is what I default to. Also, that guy, Josh, says, what's going on? We are building a D&D character in the world of Grimhollow. We're building a Wolven, a monster hunter. And so we'll kind of get into that. But it says here that many Wolven channel the natural instincts and often the natural fierceness of the creature that their curse links them to. So if we take a look at the traits section, and again, you can access all of these documents firsthand if you join the VIP group for Grimhollow, and you get the ability to play test all of this stuff for yourself. But there is a whole section in the document on character traits, and each of them help define your character and what their heritage means to them. So let's see. When you choose your traits, whether traditional or freely chosen, consider not just what they provide your character in terms of mechanics, but also how your character came to possess those. Can I just say, I fucking love, like, any supplement at all that's like, hey, you don't just get these traits, but you should also, like, think about how you got them and apply that to your role-playing. It's, like, my favorite thing ever. Oh my god, we also have Redstorm83 who subscribed, and welcome back for your 5th month, Redstorm, saying, oh my god, have you been playing... Oh, Jesus. So God, I need to put a character limit on those. Redstorm, thank you so much for the sub. Let me get your name on the board. Storm 83. Amazing. Welcome in. Someone's been playing a little bit of Warhammer. Flair says, are you planning on being Wolfie, or are you going with a different lycanthrope? I will leave it up to you guys. We are building this character together. This is a communal project. It takes a village, you know? But let me get this back on. Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, so the traits that you can choose for your character. Everyone's saying the Emperor protects. El Presbyterius says I was going to link the PDF. So if you go to !Grimhollow, y'all can kind of access it for yourself. It's just right there for you. Oh, also Shadow Phoenix. Hello, welcome in. There we go. Sorry, I have like 16 billion tabs open. Oh, and none of them are, there we go. Okay, so whatever the genesis of each of your heritage traits, you should also imagine how these traits have affected and continue to affect your life. Does a particular trait set you apart from your kin, or even make you an outcast in traditional society? Or has it made you more accepted? How has your trait affected the life that you lived, and do the folk around you have any reason to react to it, either positively or negatively? The answers to all these questions can help you establish a wonderfully rich backstory and a personality for your character. Flair says the monster hunters a werepuma / wereleopard would be sick. Yeah, we can see if that's an option. Hey, Shadow Phoenix, thank you so much for the sub. Oh my god. Hello. Welcome in for the first time. Shadow Phoenix Raw. It's a little hard to see, but I've got you on the board there. Welcome in. Hello, hello. So, taking character traits establishes a baseline benefit for your character. So, you can it basically gives you little buffs to certain traits, certain abilities such as dark vision, deception, things like that. You can also take a trait a second time to grant an additional benefit, and many traits can be taken 3 or more times if they're built around specific choices or options that change every time you take the trait on. Halfbound420, welcome in. Flair says, I like buffs. So let's see. Rules and limitations that come with a trait the first time apply to it. Apply to the benefit granted by taking the trait again, unless it specifies otherwise, so that's kind of like some more logistical stuff. With the exception of traits that grant you the ability to cast cantrips or spells, most character traits don't specify whether they're natural or magical, so you can choose how you got this specific trait and what it means for your character, what it looks like, how it affects you and the people around you, how people around you react, how other people with that trait react to you. Fully customizable in a way that I really haven't seen before in D&D, which is super cool. Even traits that specifically focus on defending against magical effects might be mundane, representing a natural resilience or aptitude powerful enough to interact with magic. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So we've got a trait list here, and character traits are grouped into 3 categories. There's combat, exploration, and role-playing. And the traits of them are kind of listed here in the document. Let's see. And then, like I said before, there is an improved variant of each one. So if we look at the, let me get my other sheet up here. Or actually, let's do this. Combat traits. As a Wolven, I believe I get to choose. Let me see. We can start with the combat traits. The combat traits represent instinct and abilities useful in battle and when engaging with the myriad other threats of life in Atharis. So you're given a list of traits based on your race, species, heritage, ancestry, whatever the source material uses. And then I believe we just get all of them. You decide the general look of your body. You can create a character. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so if I go back down to Wolven traits, yeah, I think you just get them. Oh, amazing. Okay, so the base traits are Hunter's Instinct, Natural Attack, Claws. Oh, Professor MCH, thank you so much for the sub. Same with Anjiro Sexton. Welcome back for your 9th month. Welcome in, welcome in. We also have a Breathe from Dread. Flair says I need Grim Hollow just to supplement my already modded to Hell Curse of Strahd. I feel the exact same way. Also, Val says, ooh, are we doing Grim Hollow? Let's go. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Yeah, so Grim Hollow's coming out with essentially like a revamped version, a transformed version of their existing book, compatible with the 2024 edition of 5e, with new additions, overhauls to older things. It's super cool, and we're currently building a character in it right now. But before I do that, Professor MCH, thank you so much for the sub. MCH. And then we also have Anjiro Sexton. Put you back here. Amazing. Thank you so much. Dad versus the world. Welcome in. Okay. And then we also have the Pack Hunter trait. Now the exploration traits, I'm going to put them down here as well. We have Burst of Speed and Climber. Dad vs. the World said Sub-Adventurer. Hello! We also have role-playing traits, which means Athlete's Spirit. How dare you say that role-playing isn't a word? Fine. Role-playing. Jesus. Inborn Perception, Nature's Voice. I really like characters. I will say, I love characters that have like a natural sort of vibe to them, like a commune with nature sort of thing. So let's take a look at the combat traits that we got. The following traits define your character, establishing who they were at birth and who they've become since then. Though the character's capabilities are largely defined by your choice of class, the traits provide the tools to tailor your character's other physical, mental, and magical potential. So if we look at the Hunter's Instinct, this is a combat trait, which says you summon a surge of ferocity when your prey least expect it. Oh, prey. At the end of each long rest, you gain a number of d8s equal to your proficiency bonus. When you make a weapon attack, you can roll a d8 and add it to either the d20 roll or the damage roll. If you add it to the d20 roll, you can decide to roll the d8 after the d20 roll is made, but you have to do so before the outcome of the roll is known. Hey, El Presbyter. Beater? Hello, welcome back for your 7th month, saying this publisher's also in the drive-thru, which is cool. Yeah, it's amazing. So again, if you back the Kickstarter starting tomorrow, you can get the books in, I'm assuming, physical and virtual format, but then also they're providing full support for VTTs, no matter what VTT you use, which is super cool. It's convenient as hell. They're absolutely everywhere. I ran into them at Gen Con and bought like everything that they had. So Neil Haas says, is this the new player's handbook? No, this is the this is the playtest material for Grim Hollow Transformed, which is coming back around starting tomorrow on Kickstarter. You can use !Grim Hollow at any point to kind of check it out for yourself, but I've also been kind of sprinkling it in throughout the session. Super Nerd said, is the Druid mainline to make characters connected with nature? All right, listen. I am a type. I'm not even gonna say I have a type. El Prez. Here we are. BYTR. Thank you so much for the sub. Welcome back, welcome in. Okay, let's see. So, you basically, Hunter's Instinct, I'm going to put a little thing here and a couple notes on what this does. Gain d8s equal to proficiency bonus. And then when making a weapon attack, you can add 1d8 to either the attack or damage roll. Refreshes on a long rest. So if I was doing this for realsies, I would have like a more custom version of this character sheet, or I would just use pen and paper to make it so that I can track more easily what the, hey, Woody says what's happening. I see Grim Hollow and I had to see. Grim Hollow is coming out with a revamped version, a little transformed version of their existing campaign materials, their player's guide and their campaign guide. You can use exclamation mark Grim Hollow at any point to take a look, but it is starting tomorrow, which is super cool. I honestly thought about doing this stream, here we are, this stream tomorrow to like see if it would make sense, but this is easier. So here we go. Why is Firefox not showing up? Properties. Yeah, what the hell? Here we go. We'll get rid of my document. Oh, there we are. So that's what we're looking at here. Again, you can go to this page using the link in the chat in order to basically get notified when it goes live. But it's going to be going live, I can just tell you right now, at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time or 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And then if you're in Australia, they also had the had the foresight to write down that in Australian Eastern time, it will be at midnight. Because it is an Australian company. Ghostfire is based in Australia. So that's why that is. But this is everything that you get. And of course, you can click here if you wanted to take a look at what I'm doing right now, which is all the playtest material. I will also say there is more information over here on what exactly you get when you join the VIP Discord. You get access to these metal dice if you back at a physical level. You get access to the playtest material, developer Q&As, and of course, a whole Discord where you can talk about how best to use the material with your fellow spooky DMs and players and D&D 5e enthusiasts. It's super cool stuff. But anyway, back to it. Actually, I want the document. Here we go. And then for those over on TikTok, we're gonna do that so that way you guys can see. Perfect. Man, you'd think having an extra wide monitor would help. It's not great. Woody says, I ran some Grim Hollow. Such a fun setting. Are you playing as a player? Yeah, so we're creating a character right now. We're creating a Wolven. And we haven't quite decided all of the logistics for my character yet. We're going to kind of get into that here in a moment. But we're just making sure that we have all of the subclass details down. Because we have, as a Wolven, a bunch of different traits that come with the character. And this happens for every single species in the game, in Grim Hollow as well. You get like a series of these traits. So let's see, combat traits. Natural attack with your claws. And then, do we get all of these traits or do we just get one? 6 of these heritages. Character type is humanoid. You can choose whatever you want for your physicality. Trait selection. You get a list of features that you get to choose from. Build unique characters. You can swap any of the traditional heritage traits for any of the other traits provided. So you can build your character around any 8 traits. Oh, so I don't even have to choose the ones that come with the Wolven. So in theory, I could just like fully cobble this together. That is cool. I like that a lot. And of course you can futz with it however you like. Homebrew is always allowed, but that is sick. Anyway, we're starting off with that hunter's instinct. The next one is going to be the natural attack with claws, which means the gift of natural weaponry means you're never unarmed as your foes learn to their peril. Let me change this here so you guys can see. Boop. And then boop. Okay. Take notes here. Nope, that's the Monster Hunter. I want the character creation guide. Neoha says, I've never played Grim Hollow before, but I want to. This is the time to get into it. Flair says, Wolven would be such a great replacement for those weird dog folk in Kresik that worship the abbot. It would be. And I always say this too, if you're going to create a BBG or like any sort of like major character in a campaign that's not just a base stat block or like an army, a soldier in an army full of somethings, you should give it an actual character sheet. Granted, this is a lot of work. DMs, you got to be prepared to do something like that. But like, for example, Strahd functionally has a character sheet. Major NPCs will have character sheets as opposed to stat blocks because I want my players to be able to know what they could become. So if they choose certain, traits or in this case, like certain heritages, or if they decide that their character dies and they want to start a new one, but they want to build it based off of something that they saw in the world. It just gives them more of a hands-on experience, I guess, with the different options in the world. And Jero Sexton just gifted a sub. Oh, thank you so much, Jero. Also, hello, 11 billion crabs. Welcome in. Nomadic Tinker says, you mentioned we're helping, but do you have a core idea in mind? Not so much. So far, we still have a Wolven character. And since they're a monster hunter, I'm thinking we could go with something that's got more of a roguish vibe. So a monster hunter that kind of leans more into its Wolven nature. You know, something that is, someone mentioned like potentially a catfolk or other feline-based Wolven. So something that has a lycanthropic derivative of some sort of feline would be sick. And then maybe we make it so that the monster hunter, so I will say it's an intelligence-based caster, I believe, if I remember correctly. Okay, monster hunters are skilled professionals specializing in identifying, tracking, and slaying monsters that threaten the lives and the livelihoods of the people of Itharis. And then there's a bunch of different subclasses. But let me see. Yeah, so it's based in dexterity, intelligence, and constitution as like the major scores. So I think if we lean into the intelligence and dexterity side of it, that could be a lot of fun. Flair says I end up giving major NPCs character sheets very often. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, hi, Shush, please. Welcome in. Save with Needles Scaligula? Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Flair says the Shadow Mastiff our ranger picked up now has a sidekick stat block. I love the sidekicks. Also, big Vin Diesel fan. Welcome in. You're in the right spot. And Jero Sexton, let me get you on the board again. Because why not? Jero Sexton. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Woodeek says, go completely left field and go werebore. They're surprisingly elusive creatures. We could. Cretining, welcome in. So when we have the natural attack, like I said, gift of natural weaponry means you're never unarmed as your foes learn to their peril. Your unarmed strikes deal damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength or dexterity modifier. So we can add in unarmed strikes here. Claws. Oh. Claws. And then the attack bonus. So that's going to be normal, but the damage type is going to be an extra 1d6. Oh my god, Young Pilot Boy, hello! Young Pilot Boy, thank you so much for the gifted subs, and also welcome in. Holy shit. Also, Twitch gifted a community sub gift. Is that right? Is that a thing? Can it do that? Either way, Young Pilot Boy, thank you. Let me get your name on the board, I guess, like 5 times. Wonderful to see you. Here we are. It's going to be a little all over the place. And also, I'm going to try and vary things up. Boy. Here we go. Young Pilot Boy. And then one more time. Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much. Andromeda says you gotta put Twitch's name on the board too. Sure. Twitch? Question mark, question mark, question mark? I guess. I don't know if that's actually a thing or if my Twitch overlay just isn't keeping up. But sure. It's been a thing for September. Really? Oh, I guess I've done too many charity streams. I did not notice. Also, Arita says, Ranger Monster Hunter, but you've been alone in the woods for a long time, so you're leaning into the feral nature of a wolven. Ooh. Also, your Bud Dank says I think you have to put Dan Clancy. So let's see. So we get an extra d6 equal to your strength or dexterity modifier. We're going to go dexterity. Or claws equal 1d6. Or an extra. Oh, no, it's not an extra. Deal damage equal to 1d6 plus your dex. Dex. Flip. Let's see. Unarmed attacks do 1d6 plus dex damage. The type of damage can be bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing depending on the type of natural weaponry you possess. So since we have claws, it's going to be slashing. Claws make this slashing damage. Perfect. Andromeda says, wasn't the total like 6.5k on day 2? No, it was like 5.1. I believe. Young Pilot Boy says, I haven't been here since the first day of the charity. How'd it go? It was great. We raised over 5k. It was like over 5.1k for the Jimmy Fund. Hello, Oscar M. Hello. Okay. So that's the natural attack. Pack Hunter. Now, Pack Hunter Makes It is another combat one. Fighting in the thick of battle lets you aid your allies when it counts. When an ally within 10 feet of you makes an attack roll or a saving throw, you can use a reaction. Okay, so when an ally in 10 feet attacks or saves, I can use a reaction to give them advantage. Interesting. Can be done proficiency number of times per long rest. I like that. I will also recommend using prof or pro as like a little shorthand for proficiency, because you tend to use proficiency a lot in character sheets, and when you have them form fillable or just written out like this, it tends to help. Poor man posture check. Oh shit, yeah. Andromeda says, I could have sworn we broke 6K, but okay. Did we break 6K? There's no way we broke 6K. Because that would have been... Did we? The donor drive. I don't want to harp on that too much. No, yeah. Oh, shit. We did break 5.2, though. Which is amazing. We were at 5,252. Thank you all so much for your participation, by the way. That, like, blew our minds. Everyone involved, honestly. It was super fun. I just realized my TikTok live is going down. There we go. Okay, sick. I like that. I like the concept of a monster hunter that isn't just like a complete solo working piece of shit, because I feel like that's kind of, hey Miriak, how's it going? I feel like that's kind of the norm when it comes to people like bringing some sort of, any sort of like hunter character in. It's very similar to that guy from The Boys. It's very similar to Van Helsing, full on just like an I work alone type character. So having one that leans into the pack tactics side of their woven nature is really cool narratively. But Snapsid fan says, just arrived, are we making a new character? We are in Grim Hollow. So we are making a woven monster hunter. Our next trait is an exploration trait called Burst of Speed. So we're going to go down to the, let me see. Burst of Speed. Go down to the B section. Burst of Speed. The many things that want to kill you will not have to catch you first. When you move on your turn, you can double your speed until the end of your turn, and you can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, gaining all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Oh, I like that. So, can double movement speed on a turn. Can be done proficiency number of times per long rest. Oh my god, B-Dog Kelly, hello, welcome in. Good to see you. Monkey B says, good luck, good luck. This is the first stream I actually tuned in for, and immediately I'm a fan, so I wish you the bestest of luck on your stream. Aw, thank you. I did watch half the Apple stream VOD, and that's what hooked me. Oh man, the Apple stream. If anyone mentions the word Granny Smith to me now, I get shivers. But B-Dog Kelly, welcome in. Hello, hello. Kelly. And then it's 13, right? Thank you so much for your sub with Prime. That is super sweet of you. Okay, so the burst of speed can be done a proficiency number of times per long rest. A climber, let me see. Climber gives me an exploration trait. I feel like this is kind of like, it's giving the same vibe as when you open a card pack. You know, and I don't know if that's like just me, but it's kind of like, oh, I wonder what this trait does. Let's see, Woody says, what time tomorrow's the stream? 7 p.m. Central. Yeah, it's going to be 5 Pacific, 7 Central, and then 8 o'clock Eastern. And then if you're on Mountain Time, sorry, you must be one of the only ones. TRT 2 Deck Iris Sam. Hi, hello, welcome in. Stupid said, wouldn't the word opal give you shivers? Oh god, yeah, the opal apples, don't fucking remind me. So, if you're a climber, it says sometimes staying away from what threatens you means getting clear of those threats. You have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. Oh, that's cool. That fits right in with the like feline woven traits that we were going to go after. Speed equals walking speed. So that means that if we go up to, the way I do this usually is, if this will let me, 30-30. So this means 30-foot walk, 30-foot climb. And we'll do, yeah, perfect. That's wonderful. Okay, now we get into the fun ones, the role-playing traits. I've never seen any sort of supplement do this before, so I'm really curious what it's like. So the first one we get is Athlete Spirit. Athlete Spirit says, your reserves of physical power have kept you alive on more than one occasion, so you have proficiency in the athletics skill. Oh, shit. So athletics proficiency. And we're going to go ahead and just like add that in up here. Athletics. Inborn perception. Let me see. Inborn perception. The best way to avoid danger is to make sure you're the first person to notice it. This fits so well with the Monster Hunter, by the way. I'm loving this. Super Nerd said, woo, synergy. Indeed. So, the best way to avoid danger is to make sure you're the first person to notice it. You have proficiency in the perception skill. Okay, so let's do perception, proficiency. So here we have perception. I'm imagining like a feline wolven that's kind of like just never not sniffing the air. Woody says it's like a built-in alert feat. It kind of is, yeah. And then if you take it later. So like mentioned before, all of these traits have like a second level to them. The second level of inborn perception is called piercing perception, which is kind of like an upgraded version of it. This activates says popping in after brand practice to say hello. Hello! So piercing perception, if you take this trait twice, so if you take inborn perception twice, you upgrade it so you have advantage on perception ability checks. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to twice your proficiency bonus, and you get all of those uses back on a long rest. So everything has like a little bit of an upgrade if you take it a second time. Now, the last one, Nature's Voice, sounds exciting. It says, mastering the subtle expression of fauna and flora grants you an edge in dealing with the threats of the wilderness. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas with beasts and plant creatures, understanding if a creature is hungry, for example. This gives you no specific ability to control such creatures, and you can't understand or learn detailed information from them. Okay, so that would be... You can communicate... Or I should say I can, because I tried to do this, and this is just a little trick too. Whenever you fill out your character sheet, try and do so with first person. So saying like, I can add things to a damage roll, or when one of my allies saves, I can use my reaction. It just helps on this sort of very subtle level to help you get more into roleplay when you're playing D&D and things like that. So we can say, Nature's Voice, I can communicate simple ideas with beasts and plants, but I'm going to put creatures just so that way I specify plant creatures, not just plants in general. And that should be all of our traits. Let's see. E. McKenna says, hey Diana, I find it hard to get into character when playing D&D. I'm playing with my friends and there's no reason to feel anxious about doing voices and such, but it's something I really struggle with. Any tips? Oh man, I would say, like, do you want to get better at it? Because when it comes to things like voices, you don't have to do them. People think you have to. You really don't. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I think if you're talking about getting into character, that's one thing. Doing voices is another. I feel like you do kind of need to get into character to some degree, but you don't have to do a voice. And if you do feel like you have to do a voice, you can make it very simple. You can just change how fast you talk. So for example, if you wanted to portray a character that speaks really slowly, kind of like the sloths in Zootopia, right? You can just slow down how fast you speak, and that in itself is like it's a voice. You know, you can also change your pitch. Something that I saw, I think it was, oh my god, who was it? Another D&D content creator was basically talking about how she does different voices by speaking from a different portion of her mouth or throat. So kind of like moving where she's speaking from towards the front of her mouth, or up into more of her nose, so speaking from her nose a bit more, or speaking from the back of her throat, and that kind of inherently changes how you speak. You just kind of have to map out and remember where exactly you're speaking from when it comes to certain characters. And so that might be an option. And as far as like actually getting into character, I would say build out more of your backstory, and that tends to, and try and write it in first person. That would be kind of like I think a very good starting point. A lot of people tend to write their backstories in the form of like bullet points or third person. And if you do it first person, that tends to help a little bit, kind of getting you into the vibe of the character. But yeah, I hope that kind of helps. It's hard without like specifics, but I also know it's a very broad question and a very broad topic in general. So I apologize if that isn't like the most the most like specific answer, but Snaps fan said, Justin McElroy's verbal character in Taz Graduation is such a great example of slowing down your voice to great character effect. I actually haven't seen The Adventure Zone. I am so sorry. Also, Clumsy Pillow says, I started with my own voice, just talking differently, like word choice. And when I felt more comfortable, it helped me answer, what does this guy sound like? Exactly. I also recommend practicing, if you're curious about voices in particular, just talking to yourself in your room all the time tends to help. Streamer said, writing in first person helps me get into my character. Exactly. Okay. So we've done kind of the base of our character. We've taken care of the physicality, their normal physicality, or with regards to their species. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna kind of get into the meat of the playtest material, which is the Monster Hunter class. So the Monster Hunters, it says here, are skilled professionals specializing in identifying, tracking, and slaying monsters that threaten the lives and the livelihoods of the people of Atharis. Each Monster Hunter trains in different methods for performing these monster hunting tasks. Some hunters don heavy armor and carry shields to protect against crushing jaws and scything claws. Others eschew armor in the hopes of keeping a safe distance from the natural weapons of the beasts they hunt. From the natural... Oh, wait, no. Some take steps to assume the traits of their enemies. Oh, shit, that's cool. And others dabble in magic, supplementing their martial prowess with the arcane. I'm gonna add this into my sheet, just as kind of like a character building reference, I guess. So let me do this. And then adjust this so that you guys can see. So if we're looking at the document here, this is what we got. So that's straight from the book. So this is the playtest material that you can gain access to. And then if we go into like the actual character creation rules, to create a Monster Hunter, consult the following subsections, which give you hit points, proficiencies, and starting equipment. So pretty standard, nothing crazy. And then there's the quick build stuff. We're going to try and go up to level 5 if we have a chance, and then the rest of it I recommend you guys play test on your own. But it looks like it uses a d10 for hit points, so this is kind of where I'll switch back to the PDF just so you guys can see what I'm working on here. Let me do this so that way it fits in a little better. Okay. So the hit dice, a d10 per Monster Hunter level. So we're going to say that we're a 5th level character. So we'll do not experience points because experience sucks and I'm a milestone girly. But we'll say hit dice, 5d10, and we currently have 5d10. And this is just how I do it. I know everyone else fills things out differently. We don't have any temporary hit points. We're going to say none to that. We don't have any inspiration, so we can get rid of that as well. And then if we do hit points, it's going to be based off our constitution modifier, so we'll worry about that here in a second. Now, proficiencies. When you're a Monster Hunter, you are proficient in light armor, medium armor, and shields. So pretty standard, like, Monster Hunter type gear. Hey, Claystation, welcome in. Thank you so much for the sub. Hello. Claystation. Hi, welcome back. Onyx says I hear voices all the time. They're just in my own head. So that's the armor. Weapons would be simple weapons and martial weapons. So we can kind of do pretty much anything with this character already. Tools, none. Oh wait, no. There we go. None. And then skills, or no, wait, we're gonna do skills and saving throws. So when we are a Monster Hunter, we have these saving throws based off of dexterity and intelligence. So we're gonna mark these two, dexterity and intelligence. And then for our skills, we can choose 3 from athletics, history, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, religion, and survival. So since we're building a character that's a wolf, and I feel like it kind of makes sense to have nature as one of our oh, Claystation, hello. Super Nerd also says XP leveling also reminds me of that one Brendan Lee Mulligan interview where he says, welcome to Wizard School. For the rest of the curriculum, we're going to kill goblins. Legitimately, yeah. Professor MCH says, on a full exploration campaign, how would you do milestone? Because I prefer it for sure. Oh, so if it's like a West Marches style, typically we've done it so that it is milestone based on however long you've been adventuring. So if it's been like 17 sessions or whatever, and your party's like, dude, when do we level up? Then I would kind of let them do that. You can kind of feel it out. There's nothing wrong with a full exploration campaign or a West Marches style campaign just fucking ad-libbing when you do milestone level ups. Like, I would just listen to your characters and make sure that they're having fun. And then if they start to like kind of drift towards higher level areas, then just give them the level, you know? We're here to have fun. It's totally fine. Hysteria Ballad, welcome in. Snapson said, I feel like nature and survival kind of go hand in hand here. Yeah, so maybe we had a character who was a wolven who was like living in the wild for entirely too long, and they learned about monsters by living among them, or avoiding them, maybe, and kind of leaning into their lycanthropic nature, or lycanthropic. Lycanthropic is probably the better way to put that. And Nomadic Taper says, as an alternative, maybe you can break the trend a little bit. Rather than going with nature, maybe you could lean more into the book smart idea. Ooh. What do we think, chat? Because this will determine our background, by the way. And this is something that I recommend. You should always build your character's backstory out first, and then choose a background that kind of supplements that backstory. So when you build a character, do the story, and then do the name last, and then background second to last. Nomad says, especially if you're playing with the intelligence dex build, that could be a fun subversion of the trope. Here's the thing, you can be book smart, or you could be like nature smart. Like, you can learn by reading, or you can learn by watching, because they're both intelligence-based things. It's like nature, same with religion and things like that. The Clumsy Pillow says, I came in a little late. Is this a character you're making for a campaign? This is a character that we're making for the Grim Hollow setting for D&D 5e. It is going to be coming out here soon. The Kickstarter begins tomorrow. And so we are building a character that is a wolven, which is, you know, based off of it's one of the like heritages that you can add to your character in this supplement. And then we are creating a monster hunter, which is a new class. Kashkal said you might have a delivery outside. Oh shit, I should grab that. Let's see here. Mr. Mile High says the option taking traits from your prey sounds fun. So we could say like it's maybe this character became a monster hunter by being forced to live in the wilderness as a wolven, right? So they have all of these other traits naturally. They naturally have their attack, their pack hunter, their hunter's instinct. So maybe Woodig says as a monster hunter, they could be researching tombs about the nature of the beasts if they're coming from an order or an institute. Oh, like tomes? Also, Super Nerder said, are we going to have spooky streams this spooky season? We are. So basically the rest of the month. Yeah, there are a bunch of... I turned down a lot of sponsorships for October because I specifically wanted to do more of basically this. Like more spooky streams. More things to do with how you can implement horror into your tabletop games. So if we wanted to, we could take this character scary, right? We could make it so that this character is a mix of book smart and natural hunter by saying that they, for example, lived in the wilderness, lived in the wilds, were shunned by normal society for being a wolven, which is standard, until you get to the idea that they lived in the nature so long that they started hunting their own kin. Like, full on, they didn't live with other wolven. They lived with other creatures that weren't wolven and hunted wolven down. Or maybe they hunted down other creatures, other species that are available that you could choose from in Grim Hollow, and then they learned by like dissecting them, you know, like learning all of their traits by hands-on, just like studying them almost pathologically, like almost to this sociopathic, psychopathic level, and then murdering them. Thoughts, concerns, questions? Maybe is that too much? I don't know. I was like, oh man, I'm not going creepy enough with this campaign. Woodig says, how'd your character feel about hunting other lycans? Maybe it's... Because here's the thing, when you're a wolven, you're not full lycan. You're like descended from them, but you don't necessarily have to be evil. Like the way that Grim Hollow designs all of these characters and all of these options makes it sound like you can do whatever you want with it. Like maybe lycans are revered as being closer to nature. Maybe they are... someone says werewolf Dexter, kind of like a werewolf version of Dexter. Yeah, I haven't seen Dexter. I am so sorry. Snaps and Fan says an extreme form of learn by doing. Exactly. That being said, we're gonna take a quick break because we are over halfway through stream and I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to stretch, get water. I need to go grab the food that's outside before my neighbor steals it. Not that they're gonna do that, but like, I never talk to my neighbors, and in my opinion, that's like the perfect neighbor. This is a very good chance, if you guys haven't already, to, especially if you're coming in late, take a look at the actual Kickstarter page itself. That link right there is going to take you straight to it, and basically you can mark, you know, it starts tomorrow, but if you're curious or you don't want to keep an eye on the clock, what you can do is you can bookmark it as this sort of thing where Kickstarter will let you know as soon as it goes live, so you could be one of the first to back it. So in the meantime, we will be right back. Keep an eye on this page, check out this info, check out that link, and I will be back in like maybe 3 minutes. It's not going to be long. Your Bud Dank says, could go body horror, hunting down monsters and grafting their body parts to her own. Wait, that's such a good idea. Okay, hold on to that thought. I love that. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Hello, hello. Just in time for an ad break. That is lovely. But I think almost everyone here is subbed anyway, so we're all good. Woody says, how many of y'all are currently in a campaign and what kind of characters are you playing if so? Dude, now that it's spooky season, I fully want to get into a campaign just so I can make something incredibly fucked up. Something along the lines of what we're doing right now. So, Hysteria Ballad, welcome in. Same with Jason from Jamaica. Hello, hello. So I saw someone in here, Synapsid fan, said, this character could be attempting to become an anatomist. Lycanthrope anatomy, or lycanthrope, either way. Said, is poorly understood as being shunned by society makes them harder to study. So in the wilderness, the character takes it upon themselves to learn by hunting and dissecting. So they're hunting for the, what they see as a good cause, but they aren't necessarily a good person. So, they will do anything for the pursuit of science because they believe it'll help them understand themselves and other... Hey, Dice, how's it going? And other lycanthropes, other wolven, and kind of trying to understand the full range of lycanthropy. And so, in order to do so, they're doing so in what they believe to be the quickest way possible, which is using... Andromeda says wrong things for the right reasons is always a fun concept. Dice says, well, oh, Dice, I hope you're doing okay. But, okay. So we can make it so that they're kind of like a monster hunter. You had a small one? A small fire? Like an actual fire? Oh, man. All right, let's see. Let me get this. Okay, I'm going to forget this concept if I don't write it down. So this is where we're going to switch over to our... history. I'm actually gonna add something in here that says motivations, which is also something I recommend. Usually I put it as goals, but goals, motivations, something like that says hey, this is what my character is currently doing, here's their aim right now, things like that. Dice says my office and workshop has some damage. Oh shit, I'm sorry, Dice. Holy shit. I hope everyone is okay. Afraid Not says like that dinosaur scientist in Spider-Man the comics that doesn't do it to cure cancer, just to turn everyone into dinosaurs. Oh, good God. Also, Nomadic Tinkerer says you could also get a cool psych twist where they have a love-hate relationship with their lycanthropy. Interesting. But yeah, Dice, I'm really sorry to hear that. Holy shit. How did it start? Good God. Hopefully you have insurance too, because otherwise that's rough. But we could say, okay. Back to the game. The good cats are fine, lost some molds. Oh, shoot. I am so sorry. Electrical fire? Damn. That is wild. I didn't know that was a thing that actually happened outside of insurance fraud. Superman said in Critical Role Season 3, Travis Willingham plays a Lycan Blood Hunter, and when he does his transformations, most of the time it has a body horror element, like him ripping himself in half and his Lycan form appears. So maybe we could say keywords, hunter, studious, anatomy even, just general. Instead of likes, we'll say motivations / goals, and then we could say that one of them is to understand the range of lichens, wolven, or even maybe shifters, because those still exist, to wolven to lycanthropes. And then finding, hunting, and dissecting creatures of the night to understand them. And we can say, with that love-hate relationship with other lichens, do we want to say or with their own lycanthropy and their own touch of lycanthropy? Dice says my inventory was in the bedroom because I was reorganizing it, fortunately. Oh, thank God. Also, if anyone needs dice, everything's 50% off. Oh, that's wonderful. Dice, you should be able to drop the Fate and Fortune link. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, you should be able to drop it in chat. If it doesn't work, let me know. And one of the mods can help you. But let's see. So finding, hunting, and dissecting creatures of the night to understand them. Nomadic says maybe it's a situation where they learned about their heritage and went out to start exploring and coming to terms with it. In doing so, they ended up embracing the beast. One of those, when you look into the abyss stares back at you. Interesting. So trying to understand themselves, to understand themselves. I like that. Okay, there's that link. Okay. So let's get back to the character creation section. And once again, for those who came in over the break, first of all, welcome in. Hello. We are currently doing a little bit of a Monster Hunter character creation in D&D 5e using the Grim Hollow set of rules, which are available for playtest right now. If you use !Grim Hollow in chat, you should be able to get access to the site that will let you know how their VIP works. And that way you can check out everything that they have available for playtest for yourself, which includes several other species, by the way, not just the Wolven. And so we have that available. Let's see. Okay, there's my character sheet. Perfect. Let's get back to it. So we have a D10 of hit dice. We chose, oh yeah, we were choosing skills. So if we have a character who has like kind of like this anatomical sort of vibe, almost like a doctor, right? We definitely want medicine. So we took, I believe, nature, medicine, and then another one would be, let's see. We took athletics and perception from our Wolven self. So we can say medicine, nature, and we get to choose from history, investigation, religion, and survival. Religion doesn't seem to make sense for this character right now, even though it's an intelligence build. So we could say maybe history for the sake of like that anatomical knowledge and being able to draw upon your knowledge of things that you've encountered in the past. Professional harm assist. So we could say, let's go with history for that one. Dice says, but my silicon dice are very valuable, so I'm on a mission to pour about 1,000 of them before the end of the year. Oh, well, best of luck, Doug. I am sorry for everything that happened. Super Nerd says survival makes a lot of sense. That too. Cash Cow said, was your food here? It is. It's just off screen because it's a sponsored stream, so I don't want to munch into the mic for most of that. Instead, we're going to move on to starting equipment. We start with either scale mail or leather armor. Here, okay, I have a strong bias towards leather armor, so we're going to go with that. Which, if we do normal leather armor, that's a AC of 14 plus dex, right? So we'll do AC afterwards because we got to go do the skills or the actual like, yeah, the skills part of it later. Mirex says, I have a strong bias against leather armor. What? I think it's cool. Dramatic says, I think that would work great, especially if we're going for more of a researcher type, coming to terms with their existence. Maybe they have the proficiency because of the time that they spent digging into the past. True! Also, Nutster, hello. Welcome in. Or Nodster. We also get a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. Guys, what kind of martial weapon should I take? What would a monster hunter have that seems badass? I feel like maybe something reflavored. So, something reflavored is like a bone saw, which would do technically slashing damage because there's no like serrated tearing damage or anything. Super Nerd said if the leather armor was tanned by themselves, yeah. So we could say like homemade. Ooh, I'm gonna put that note in the Word doc underneath their character visuals. Homemade leather armor from a questionable animal source that they're cagey about when asked. And then, okay, so we can do leather armor. A bone falchion. Wolverine claws. So we already have claws. We could say like, what are we thinking? A catchpole. Also, Dice says, I'm just glad I was home and named Wink, and it started by smoking. Wait, it started by smoking a ton, having PPE to help with fumes, by the way. Oh, gotcha. PPE. Oh, yeah. I imagine having that lying around as a dice maker is pretty solid. Sickle, daggers, and other small blades would work great. All the hands-on practice. So we could say, I don't think a dagger is a martial weapon, but we could say like sickle in one hand. And this person already does not give me the vibe that they would be very much in the way of using a shield. But we could say like sickle in one hand and maybe just like a short sword in the other, but it's modified to look like a bone saw. So a sickle and short sword. And then you get a light crossbow and 20 bolts or 2 simple weapons. Let's go with 2 simple weapons because then we can do 2 daggers. Big Butt Judd is here for the first time. Hello. Saying, been loving your DM tip shorts. Keep up the good work. Ah, thank you. Sickle and Hammer. Also, Clumsy Pillow said, I could see them using some kind of crossbow with species-specific bolts, like silver for other lichens or like a garlic bomb or something like that. Ooh, that's a good point. Do we want daggers or do we want a crossbow and bolts? Do we have a preference? Newsman, welcome in. Hello, hello. Notester says, this is Diana in a mage's robe. I'm in a cape. I'm in a little cloak. I'm so sad that I don't know where my fangs are, because that would have been perfect for this game. Even for this character. Crossbow is OP. Let's do crossbow. Crossbow, and then bolts, 20 of them. Wouldn't daggers be a last resort for a monster hunter? A monster hunter who, under normal circumstances, I would normally say so, but if we're thinking monster hunter who specializes in dissection, maybe there are daggers that are kind of like reflavored to be scalpels. Something where you're like, you want to be up close and personal when you make your attacks, you know? Potentially. Crossbow would be really cool, especially with the harm assist elements. If you're leaning into the medicine, you may be looking into specialized bolts. Also, Andromeda says, fun vampire fact, garlic is a blood thinner, which would make drinking blood easier. Also, Synapse said, I guess the question is how careful they are when hunting. Like, how important is it to make sure that their target's body is intact when the hunting is over? That's a good point. So kind of like a skilled, like, archer would, right? Like, when you hunt deer and things like that, you have to shoot for certain parts of the body. If you don't know you're going to hit it, you can't do it, because otherwise it's too messy and the animal might get hurt or hurt itself in the process of running away. So let's go with crossbow. I like that. The other option is a Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack. Obviously, I'm going to go Explorer's pack. But I'm not going to go ahead and itemize everything right now, mostly because if I were doing this for realsies, then I would be able to do it in D&D Beyond after the book comes out. Hi, Dr. Norp. Welcome in. And also, we don't have the time, so we're just going to put Explorer's pack in general. Now, as a monster hunter, you have the following features. At first level, you get a fighting style. You can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later choose again. So immediately at first level, we get a fighting style. Starting to put this over here. Fighting style. Which is going to be... Hi, Country Rose. Welcome in. Also, Ryuji, welcome back for your 100th stream in a row. Holy shit. That's amazing. Also, Dr. Norp says, have you heard of the fantasy age system? I have not, actually. A Clumsy Pillow says, that sounds like something they would evolve into a more careful hunter. That's true. So we're coming in at level 5, but there's still plenty of growth to go. So in theory, this character could 100% get, like, better at their job. In theory. Also, I am Mr. Delicious Taco. Welcome in, welcome in. So, we can choose archery, dueling, great weapon fighting, or 2-weapon fighting. Why don't we say archery? As a hunter would kind of like sneak up on their prey. Archery. And then up close and personal stuff is like when you need to. Notster says, I'm reminded of the X-Men Rogue from the movie with Una Hood. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Country Builder, welcome in. Thank you so much for the sub as well. Welcome back for your 10th month. Holy shit. Halloween cosplay ideas. I know, everyone and their mother's been telling me to be Rogue for Halloween for forever. I would if I knew the source material, but I don't. Woodeek says, wait, are there guns in Grim Hollow? I don't remember. I'm actually not sure. It looks like, yes, based off of the cover art. I almost never have guns in my game, so like that's something that I don't usually mess with. I am going to go through and take a look at their trinkets and stuff, though. So they do have a bunch of different... I will say, like, the bolts thing does work kind of perfectly with the Grim Hollow setting, because the Grim Hollow setting does have a fuck ton of different types of bolts. So there's, like, slashing bolts, whistling bolts, different types of ammunition along those lines, including special ammunition, like, and then alchemical ammunition, which is quite interesting. So in theory, there's a lot you can do with this character already. Rogue has a Southern Belle accent? Really? Interesting. Also, hi Ashley, how's it going? Also, Norp says, I asked because I just got invited to my first TTRPG campaign. Hey, congrats, that's wonderful. Okay, Country Builder 88. Thank you so much for this sub. Let me put you in here. Country Builder? I hardly know her. I can't go one full-length stream without trying that at least once, you guys. I'm so sorry. So you get a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons. So, archery. So, +2 to attack with ranged weapons. Okay. Now, at first level, you create or inherit a repository of knowledge known as a monster grimoire. Each monster hunter carries with them this grimoire of lore and research about the creatures that they hunt. A monster hunter's grimoire is an object entirely unique to them. It may be a leather tome recovered from a dusty library with notes made in the margins, a set of blood-stained scrolls inherited from a previous hunter, or a precious stone with a communing spirit trapped within. Oh, that last one is a cool concept. Holy shit. Ashley says, I'm good. It's a bit EP because it's 3 a.m., so I'm not going to lurk around long, but I'll leave the tab open. Oh, thank you for lurking. Also, Notster says, new month, new sub whiteboard. I mean, that's mostly because the last time it was for the charity stream. But, it's not a new month yet either. Wait, I'm ahead of you. Oh, yes, that's true. I forgot about that, the time zone difference. So we have a grimoire. Do we want it to be a physical one? I'm assuming so, because that provides a lot of flavor as to what our grimoire looks like. Any thoughts? Grimoire? Did I spell it right? I did. It doesn't think it's a word. That's okay. So if we go along with like the question, the things that are leather with questionable sources kind of route, we could say that the grimoire is like a leather-bound spiral notebook, almost like a medical journal. Each page made of the skin of a fallen prey. Oh, that's a good idea. Your monster manual could be a book made of tanned hides. And so like maybe anytime I learn something about a creature, I use its skin to create the book page that information goes on. I like that. Made of skin of various creatures. Super Nerd said just make sure it doesn't look like the Necronomicon. It's legally distinct. I'm picturing pages upon pages of detailed diagrams. Yeah, so full of anatomical diagrams. So kind of like Da Vinci style. Jayhawk says it's like a warped and morbid version of pressing flower petals between pages. Your Bud Dank says written in ink made from their blood. I wouldn't say, because not everything has blood is the only problem. But almost everything has some sort of outer substance or can be made into something, right? I think the only exception would be maybe slimes or ghosts. But then you would just use normal pages, you know? Let's see. If a monster hunter ever loses their grimoire, they've retained enough of their knowledge to not suffer any immediate disadvantages, but they can't further their research without one, and can't take another monster hunter level until a lost grimoire has been replaced. It can be recreated by spending 8 hours and 50 gold worth of materials, such as books, scrolls, ink, and other components. That'd be really interesting story-wise. Also, hi, Joe! Welcome back, and thanks for the 900 bits! Ashley says just dig up the body from the ghost and acquire the skin that way. That'd be hilarious. It'd be so extra. Kashkal said, could the cover of the book be protected by, like, a bone or chitin cover? Ooh. But I think at that point it would go from skin to like maybe a thicker leather, right? Potentially. Choose 2 types of monsters that you're specialized in hunting from the following list: aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, giants, humanoids, specifically shape changers. So absolutely we have to do that. So we could say monster grimoire. We'll put it up here. Grimoire. Humanoids. Shape changers. And then you add your proficiency bonus to int or wisdom checks relating to those monsters. So we have humanoids. What are the other ones? Perhaps the master had a very different tome, much like the Voynich manuscript. I don't know what that is. Kashkal said it could be a book holder. Oh, that'd be sick. Also, Arcturus Thanatos says random though. But would they have anything that would add the bleeding effect? I know it's not an actual status, but I feel like a bleed weapon would be cool. It might be a status in this game, honestly. Like, they add a fuck ton of stuff in in Grim Hollow, so I wouldn't be shocked. But Arcturus Thanatos says thought. Oh, random thought. Would they have anything that would add the bleeding effect? So I imagine if we reskin their short sword to look like a bone saw, that would inflict some sort of, like, bleeding effect just flavor-wise. Muriak says you don't know about the Voynich manuscript. Look it up. It's super cool. I'll look it up after stream. But let's see. You need to. What is it? Is this something I'm supposed to know about? Either way, we're running out of time. We have like, oh my god, 15 minutes. We can get to level 5 in 15 minutes. Let's see. For example, if you're specialized in hunting undead, you add proficiency bonus to history checks to recall lore about them, or medicine checks to identify claw marks left on a corpse made by an undead creature. And if you're already proficient in a skill that would use that intelligence or wisdom check, then you double your proficiency bonus. I like this. This is powerful. You also learn one language based on the type of monster that you choose. So if you choose a humanoid or shape changer, that means that I automatically learn, I'm going to put this down here, language. I automatically learn some sort of like national language. So if this is taking place in Celestion, for example, and I know that this has its own custom setting, but since I don't have that information on me right now, we can say Phaethaxian, the language of Phaethax, which is part of my homeworld. Let's see. Woody says, I'm guessing the Wolven are considered the humanoid shape changers. I think they're just considered humanoid. Also, Raven Stromden says, I'm sitting here wondering if it's actually a good idea that I can go out and get ice cream almost anytime I want. Dude, I fucking love being an adult for that exact reason. Hello to Water Loser, who's here for the first time. We also have Stupid Nerd, who said, on my second date with a necromancer, they asked if we can raise a family together. My friend said we're gonna fast. I said we're going too fast. I said it's fine because the graves were close together. Jesus. Nozer says, an herbal 15th century manuscript. I'm glad it wasn't written on vellum made out of human skin. Also, Sir Stakeford, welcome in. So we get a language from that. What should the other one be? The other monster type might be maybe beast. Because I feel like if we're specialized in hunting beasts, then that would be part of the sort of goal to bridge the gap between beast kind and lycanthropes. So it's kind of like comparing the two and pretty much ignoring everything else in between, I'm guessing. Audacious Plays, welcome in. Hello, hello. So we could say, let me slow down or end the TikTok live here, because there are a lot of people hanging out. Guys, if you're over on TikTok, hello, wonderful to see you. I recommend hopping over to Twitch. Twitch is going to provide a much better viewing experience and also a lot more interactivity, because I can't keep an eye on the Twitch chat or the TikTok chat while I'm doing 17 different things in 17 different tabs. So wonderful to have you all watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Diana the Rose would be the Twitch handle if you decide to hop over. Until then, I'll see you all tomorrow. So that's ending the live stream there. Okay, thank God. My CPU is free. Raven says, there's very much not enough chocolate on this peppermint bark ice cream. You have peppermint bark ice cream available already? Dude, it's not even Halloween yet. Fucking jealous. Okay, so let's go beast for the other one. Humanoids and beasts. And then if we have beasts as our other chosen monster type, then by default we also learn Sylvan, according to the chart that they give us. Sylvan. Amazing. Nomadic says there's only 18 confirmed books that are bound in human skin, with the majority being from the 19th century. It sounds like we stopped having fun around the 19th century. So, starting at second level, we have something called Studied Response. Beginning at second level, you've learned that the most effective way to slay a monster is to strike their most vulnerable area at precisely the right moment. Too early and your attack glances away, and too late and the monster may have eviscerated you already. So when an enemy you can see within 60 feet makes a weapon attack, you can use your reaction before that attack roll to make a weapon attack against the creature. Interesting. So you're kind of just like waiting for them to attack, biding your time. I'm picturing someone who's just like fully relaxed in battle, head tilted, like waiting for someone else to attack first, and then just like dodging out of the way and striking back, especially if we're going for a creature that has like a sickle in one hand and a short sword in the other, or someone who's an archer waiting for them to attack like a party member, for example, because we have pack tactics already. So we could say Studied Response. Someone says TikTok, the unloved child. It's going to be an unloved child so long as A, my viewership keeps going down, and B, it keeps throttling my CPU. So Studied Response. When an enemy within 60 feet makes a weapon attack. It's interesting how it specifies weapon attack, but I guess that makes sense for the setting. I can use a reaction to make a weapon attack against it. Perfect. And there's no limit to how many times I can do that either. Now, the only thing is this is done before its attack roll. So in theory, too, I could wait for it to attack. It attacks. I go into strike and I kill it before it gets its attack off. Like, this is very much a possibility. Nomadic says serial killer vibes. I'm liking this character. This is like a measured killer. It's super fucking cool. All right, Hunting Guild. At 3rd level, you choose a hunting guild that best reflects the techniques you employ in tracking and slaying monsters. You can choose between the Carver Guild, the Devourer Guild, the Occultist Guild, or the Trapper Guild. All are detailed below. Oh my god. Nomad says we were waiting for that. Nasser says, I say I'm in love with and I consume the same content on TikTok and Instagram, but live is where Twitch is at. Oh, 100%. Okay. Man, so let's go ahead and do that. So our 3rd level is where we get our subclass. The Hunters Guilds are groups of monster slayers who use the same techniques and teachings. Some guilds are formally organized like a mercenary company, while others are more loosely organized but have inherited a similar knowledge. So, reaching 3rd level represents a monster hunter's readiness to deploy these specialized tactics after considerable study and practice. So the Carver Guild. Since the beginning of time, monsters were fought by those brave enough to glare into the danger's ferocious eyes. The folk that survived were those smart enough to arm themselves properly and know precisely where to strike with the quickest kill, or when to flee and come back later with a new plan. The Carvers are the monster hunters typically called upon when immediate danger threatens a settlement where no army or militia is available. They stride unflinchingly towards death, armed with years of training and knowledge that's both personally researched and passed down before them. So we could say it looks like it's very much like a face creature's head-on, like very mercenary sort of vibes. It looks like at 15th level, you just have bonuses to your attacks. At 18th level, you have something called controlled footwork, where you basically can, if you miss, still use your reaction. Or if you use a weapon attack during your reaction, then your reaction refreshes at the end of the current creature's turn, so you can use it once per round. Basically, you get more attacks. True Grit, close quarters battle. So it's very much just like your typical, like, we are facing this shit head on sort of thing. The Devourer Guild. Folks in Atharis do not always speak highly of monster hunters, and many consider them to be just as depraved and inhuman as the evils they're set out to vanquish. This already sounds right up my character's alley. Many of the appalling tales told about monster hunters can be attributed to the Devourer Guild, accused of being monstrous cannibals themselves. The truth is barely any better. Oh, I love this. Devourers have spent their days consuming the flesh and blood of the monsters that they have slain, and over time their metabolism has changed to tolerate this disgusting practice. Devourers adopt mutations shortly after consuming the substance that their prey is made from. Oh, we have to do this one, chat. Oh man, I'm also hearing... Why am I getting pinged at work? It's the end of the quarter, so I want to make sure I'm not getting in trouble for anything. Okay, perfect. Amazing. Just gotta be extra sure. Someone says that slots right in. Alchemical gastronomy. When you choose the guild at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with alchemist tools and cook's utensils. When you choose it at 3rd level, you also gain the ability to consume portions from monster remains, which cause your body to adopt powerful and frightening new mutations. I love this. Okay, we're gonna come back to this one, because I want to touch base on the others as well. Occultist Guild. In Atharis, there are those who fear magic, and those who seek to understand it. Monster hunters from the Occultist Guild know folk from both sides are equally dangerous, and an occultist investigates the arcane, the supernatural, and the uncanny, while avoiding the influence of superstition or ideology. Despite their reputation as mage hunters, the occultist does not burn their enemies at the stake. It looks like it's more of a magic subclass, so you get spellcasting abilities if you take that subclass. And they're based off of intelligence, which is kind of where that intelligence thing comes in. So that's super cool. Imagine your, like, fucking grimoire giving you the ability to cast spells as well. I don't think that quite fits in with our character build, but you get things like mage hunting, occult knowledge, which lets you cast rituals, magical aegis, which allows you to extend protection to allies within 20 feet and give them advantage on saving throws against spells cast by creatures. So you target creatures that specifically are spellcasters. Things like that. And then the last one that's available here for the playtest is Trapper Guild. Legends say that the founding members of the Trapper Guild were game hunters who had grown bored of hunting common elk and dreamed of taking down bigger game. Trappers take pride in their kills and the ingenuity exhibited when a trap works perfectly. The legacy is a consistent testament to the benefits of lying in wait. The element of surprise is paramount to the trapper, whose kit can flourish before the hunter and the monster even meet. Preparation is key, and the resourceful trapper has devices to assist in bringing down even the strongest foes. Interesting. So when you choose this, you get stealth and then the tinker's tools. So full on, it just controls the battlefield. Stupid just said the mutations one and the trappers sound cool for this character. 100%. There's different types of traps too. So there's a silver bomb, which, oh my god, is used for creatures specifically that are resilient to mundane weapons, it says. Also, Burger King corporate, welcome in. Big fan. Terrain cloak, which allows the wearer to conceal themselves within the environment. So these are just like little things that you can make. Oh yeah, and it's still based on intelligence. This is cool. You can make elemental ammunition. You can make something called a scorpion anchor, which basically can be fired from a ranged weapon, like a bow or crossbow, and grapples the creature from afar. A wear trap, which is incredibly difficult to see when placed on the ground, and it knocks creatures over, and also can be used as a one-handed ranged weapon. Huh. That's cool. Okay, so it's kind of like the Artificer subclass, it sounds like. So there's like almost an Artificer vibe, a Wizard vibe, the Devourer Guild, and then the Carver's Guild, which gives like Fighter Barbarian vibes. But the Devourer one seems super cool. So for this, when you choose this guild at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with the Alchemist tools and Cook's utensils. So instead of tools and none, we can say Alchemist's tools, and then Cook's utensils. And then when you choose this guild, you gain the ability to consume portions from monster remains, which cause your body to adopt powerful and frightening new mutations. Oh my god. So we have something called Salvaging Portions, which is an ability. Salvaging portions. Imagine doing this in secret, right? Because like you would want to hide the, especially for my character who's a Wolven, you'd want to hide this part of you for as long as you can. So this is one of those instances where I would 1000% ask a party member if they wanted to hide their subclass from the rest of the party. And just like very subtly give them opportunities to role play out what they do behind the scenes. Like at first they would do things like, you know, full on like Asterion, you know, sneaking behind people's backs to drain a nearby boar of blood. And then the rest of the party would come across the remains the next day and be like, yo, what the fuck happened? And then my character would be off to the side like, damn, that's fucking wild, right? Anyway, we should go over there. And so, hey, Plague Witch, welcome in. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy spooky season. Hello. Mayo says internal screaming time. Indeed. It's internal or external, but, you know, my mic is on, so. But Salvaging Portions makes it so, as an action, I can harvest 1 ration from any creature, noting down the monster type that the portion belongs to. Once harvested, it lasts until, which lasts until the end of the next long rest. Note the creature type. And it looks like this portion does things. You can spend a bonus action, can eat the portion with a bonus action. Mayo says my coworker just got put into hospice 3 weeks after cancer diagnosis. The entire workplace is internally and externally screaming. Oh, holy shit. That's so quick after a diagnosis, too. I hope your coworker's okay, and I hope the rest of your workers are okay. Synapsin Fan says, what happened to this monster? Damn, that's crazy. It's such a great humor setup. Mirax says, there must be a chupacabra around here. So you spend a bonus action to consume a portion. After you consume it, you choose a mutation to gain depending on the creature's type. Eat the portion with the bonus action and gain a mutation depending on the type. So it sounds like since the portion rots, or the ration rots after a very short amount of time, you kind of have to keep killing, which is so cool when you put it in tandem with the Wolven background, or the Wolven species. So we could say like, Super Nerd said I got a house for a steep discount. I found out it's because it's cursed. On a full moon, it becomes a warehouse. Oh, Jesus. You can port, oh shit. Oh, this is cool. So you can gain the benefits of the consumed portions a number of times up to 1 plus your intelligence modifier. Okay. Can have 1 plus intelligence portion benefits at a time. And you can't benefit from the same portion multiple times. Oh, wait, you can gain the benefits a number of times. Portion benefits equal to 1 plus int times. And then can have multiple portions at the same time, but not the same mutation. So you're kind of motivated to go out of your way to kill a bunch of different things. Like it is, I can imagine it almost like an addiction, right? Also, hi Sunfire, welcome in. Super Nerd said the amount of synergy in the first couple levels is insane. It's so good. It is so good. So the mutations available to the Devourer Guild are as follows. If you eat from an aberration, ooze, or plant, Then you get acid blood, so your blood becomes acidic, and when a creature hits you, they take acid damage. And if they're using a bite or a beak attack, they take extra acid damage. So normally it's 1d6 if they just hit you with a weapon. If they bite you or hit you with like a beak attack or peck you, they take 3d6 instead. That is insane. That is so cool. The second one is called Acumen, which is for a Celestial Fiend or Fae. For the next hour, you have an advantage on insight checks to know if you're being lied to. And you have advantage on ability checks using either Intimidation or Persuasion. You choose. Tiny Law says, I hope I grow up to have acid blood someday. Kashkal said this is giving reincarnated as a slime vibes. Honestly. Awareness, which can come from any type of portion. For the next 10 minutes, you know the location of any creatures within 60 feet of you that are not behind total cover and are of the same monster type as the portion consumed. So basically, you eat something and you have like awareness of other creatures of that type around you. Almost like a sense of smell, right? Flight, which you can get from celestials, dragons, or elementals, where if you eat a celestial dragon or elemental portion, then for the next 10 minutes, you gain leathery, feathery, or spectral wings and a 30-foot fly speed. This is so fucking cool. Infused comes from dragons, elementals, or oozes, where you choose a damage type, acid, cold, fire, one of the elements, and then for the next 10 minutes, your weapon attacks deal that damage type instead of their normal damage. So you just kind of like, you gain elemental weaponry just by having a little snack. How fucking cool. And then, oh god, that'd be so useful too, because then you wouldn't have to like go out of your way to buy a certain weapon based off of whatever you're fighting. Like as a monster hunter, you'd have extra knowledge about what you're up against. And then you would just be able to use the Devourer Guild benefits to adapt to that. Miriax says, do other aspects if you become acidic, you wouldn't want to have sex with acidic fluids. It only specifies blood, so I think we're okay. Invisibility. Fae, Fiend, or Undead portions give you this. For the next 10 minutes, you become invisible, and anything you're wearing or carrying is also invisible. This ends early if you dismiss it, you cast a spell, or you attack. So pretty standard invisibility, but cheaper by far. And then Might, which is Beast, Construct, or Giant. For the next minute, you gain advantage on all strength-based ability checks and saving throws, and advantage on strength-based weapon attacks, and you add 1d6 to the damage rolls of those attacks. That's pretty sick. Although we have a dexterity build so far, so I don't think that would quite work for our character. Hey, Paige, how's it going? Natural weapons. For dragons, humanoids, shape changers specifically, or monstrosity. For the next hour, you gain natural weapons such as claws and fangs, which we already have those because we're wolven, so we wouldn't really need it. But it also lets you make an unarmed strike as a bonus action on each of your turns. That's pretty sick. I do like that. Regeneration comes from beasts, giants, or monstrosities. You instantly regain HP equal to 2d8 plus your monster hunter level. Nice. Resistance from constructs. Oh shit, you can eat pieces of constructs? Oh damn, I wonder how that would work. Because like certain undead creatures are considered constructs. So for example, flesh golems. But then also just like robots, you know? So from a construct, humanoid, or undead, for the next minute you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. That tracks. These all make super fucking good sense. And then telepathy. From aberrations, fiends, or plants. For the next hour, you can speak telepathically to any creature you're aware of within 60 feet of you that can speak or understand a language. Additionally, during that time, you have resistance to psychic damage. Oh. I'm going to read out the rest of the Devourer Guild here, and then that's where we'll wrap the stream. We don't have time to go through all of the details of, like, the numbers bits of it, but we got a really solid start with regards to, like, what our character should be, and already a really solid, like, almost backstory, you know? Like, we know exactly what this creature, this character is. We know what they're going up against. You kind of have my general template for how I build characters when it comes to games like D&D, and so you can kind of take that home with you as, like, a little bit of a reference. But when it comes to the rest of the Devourers Guild, at 7th level, you get something called Synchronized Response, where your ingestion of monster entrails heightens your understanding of them and their behavior. So in addition to the normal effects that you get by eating the portion, you also get a melee weapon attack, you get extra 1d6 damage on melee weapon attacks made using your reaction. There's also something called Gnawing Hunger, where at 10th level, your hunger for your enemy allows you to partake of their essence in the middle of a fight. When you deal damage to a creature with a melee weapon attack, you gain temporary hit points equal to half the damage dealt. So you could flavor that as like a bite attack almost every single time, and if you're humanoid, then it just looks scary. Like you become feral, whether or not you're wolven. If the target is the type of creature written about in your monster grimoire, you gain temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt instead, as opposed to like the half the damage dealt. When you reach 15th level, you get alchemical decoctions, where you can spend an hour and 20 gold pieces worth of alchemical ingredients, like special herbs or monster salvage to use in your alchemist supplies to convert a single portion into a decoction. A decoction is a magical potion that functions exactly like a portion, so that we can give it to other people. You can destroy it as an action too. Creatures other than you can consume one decoction, gaining a level of exhaustion for each additional one that they eat after that. And then after finishing a long rest, the creature regains the ability to safely consume one. At 18th level, you get Acquired Taste, where your hunger for monster portions has increased to the point of becoming insatiable. When you consume a portion, you gain an advantage on attack rolls made as part of a reaction for 1 minute. It's a very reactionary type of thing. I like this a lot. And of course, like the Monster Hunter itself still has the rest of its class abilities, so you still get the ability score increases and then additional abilities up to level 20. So you get an improved Monster Grimoire at 13th level, you get Layer Sense at 14th level, increased responses, so there's, God, a lot of stuff, a lot of synergies here. I absolutely love it. Nomadic Tinker says cooking with Diana today's meal, the BBEG. Can you imagine taking down a BBG in a campaign and just like grabbing like a little fork and a little napkin and being like, all right, guys, good fight, huh? Damn. Anyway. That being said, we're going to wrap it up here. One more time for those who weren't here before and who missed it. The whole reason that we're talking about this is because the Grimhollow Transform Kickstarter campaign kicks off here soon, specifically tomorrow. And if you guys want to, you can use !Grimhollow to access the website. That'll take you straight there. And then also describe some of the features that you get when you sign up to be a VIP as part of their campaign, which means you can join their Discord, you get access to the playtest materials that I just showed off, you get special dice as soon as you pledge on the Kickstarter for any sort of physical level. And then, of course, you get all this information about the guide, the player's guide and the campaign guide, of course. But this Kickstarter right here is definitely what you're going to want to keep an eye on. It launches tomorrow, and God, I'm just so excited. It's going to be at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, at 10 a.m. Eastern. God, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm stoked, you guys. I think this is super cool. It's right up my alley when it comes to horror gaming, and I'm such a huge fan. I'm a really big fan. Thank you so much to Grimhollow for sponsoring this stream, for reaching out and saying hi, for being so nice, especially Nick at Gen Con. Jayhawk says save some time and tuck in the napkin when you roll initiative, honestly. But I will say the link is also in my link tree, so if you guys are not wanting to take a look at it right now, or you're not at your computer to bookmark the Kickstarter page or have that little notify me on launch section ticked, you can come back to my link tree at any time. I'm Diana the Rose on all platforms, like you guys know by now, so you can go check that out at your convenience. But again, tomorrow is going to be the big moment where it launches, and it goes up through the end of October, right around Halloween, actually. Grim Halloween is what they told me to say. And so I will be checking in with you guys about the campaign between now and then. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for hanging out here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for being willing to go through my character creation process, and for helping me out with all of the story beats. I think it's an awesome character. I kind of want to flesh it out just for the sake of like finishing it and getting like a Pinterest board and things like that going. But for right now, thank you all so much, and I am gonna see who's online, who I can throw you guys at. Let me check this out. Ooh, we got a lot of friends. We got a lot of friends on. Should we go say hi to... Ooh, we should say hi to Serena, shouldn't we? Let's see. Oh my god, everyone is on. Everyone is online. Let's go ahead and say hi to Serena. For those who don't know Serena, she was hanging out with us during TwitchCon. Amazing human being. Literally one of the prettiest human beings I've also set eyes on ever. And she's currently playing World of Warcraft. So we're going to say hello. Sweet D, welcome in. Stay with home noises. Good to see you. Nuzzer says I was hoping you were going to play with this character soon. I hope so. I really want to see like what the finalized version though is, because it's still in playtest, but I'm gonna keep track of it. Regardless, let's go ahead and raid over. Thank you all so much again for hanging out, and I will see you back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific for the first official stream of October, our first spooky stream where we talk about TTRPGs and the like. So I'll see you guys then.